Clerk, call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy Charles Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Andy H. Wynn, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Thank you. Our invocation this morning will be delivered by Craig Shugart from the Criminal Courts Administrator. After the invocation, please remain standing for our pledges.
Please bow our heads. Heavenly Creator, we are thankful for all your bountiful gifts you bestow upon us. Please guide this Commissioner's Court with your wisdom. We understand that we do not fully understand your plan for us, but we have faith and trust in your divine strategy. Let us reflect on your holy word of Psalms 33, 4 through 6. For the word of the Lord is right and true. He is faithful in all he does. The Lord loves righteousness and justice. The earth is full of his unfailing love. By the word of the Lord and the heavens were made, their starry hosts by the breath of his mouth. Let us remember your unfailing love for us every day as we go doing your will. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thanks, Craig.
Could I make an announcement, Judge, at the appropriate time?
Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have one announcement as it relates to this agenda and then one general announcement. On today's agenda under bonds and certificates of insurance, we do have certificates of insurance that we need to approve. So whenever we get to that particular agenda item, we need to make sure that we act on those. Second of all, members of the Court, the Citizens Blue Ribbon Committee on our project with healthcare in Terran County, its initial first meeting is going to be next Tuesday at 2:30 in the beginning at 2:30 in the afternoon, and it'll be held in room 504C. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Court members, you have before you the minutes of our regular meeting of January the 31st.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We have a couple of proclamations and then our employee recognition at this time. Commissioner Fickus, I believe you have the first.
Yes, and this resolution is for Sheila Stevens, who's with the City of Keller, and we're going to move approval. I'm presenting it later this week. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Johnson.
Yes, I have one, Your Honor, for National Children's Dental Health Month, if you would read that into the record.
Whereas a healthy mouth and teeth are an important part of a child's overall health, and whereas tooth decay is the most chronic infectious childhood disease that is 5 times more common in children than asthma, and whereas children miss more than 52 million school hours each year due to dental disease, and whereas untreated tooth decay can cause pain and infection that can impact a child's ability to perform well in school, as well as their eating habits, speech development, self-esteem, sleep, and quality of life, and whereas children living in poverty are twice as likely to experience tooth decay and other oral health challenges, and whereas tooth decay is preventable and treatable in various strategies such as starting oral health habits early, establishing a dental home, limiting sugary foods and drinks, providing education to community professionals, and improving access to treatment and dental services are essential in the fight against tooth decay. And whereas a public educated in oral health is more empowered to embrace healthy behaviors and improve the oral health of the children in Tarrant County, and whereas the Children's Oral Health Coalition, led by Cook's Children's, is pleased to join the American Dental Association's National Children's Dental Health Month in promoting good oral health for children. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim February 2017 as Children's Dental Health Month in Tarrant County, and urges all citizens to engage in activities and conversations that will strengthen the oral health of children in our community. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 7th day of February 2017.
I move for its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And we have the following Children's Oral Health Coalition officers present. Faye Ballou, Chair. If y'all would all meet me up at the podium. Peyton Salavera, Evelyn Irwin, Cindy Chrysler, Dr. Tanya Fuqua, and Alice Espinosa. Well, I don't think they're all meeting me there, but some of them.
Here they come. Here they come.
Didn't recognize their names, I guess.
David Stevens.
Let me present this to you, and any comments that y'all would like to make, please do so.
Thank you,
And congratulations for what you do.
Commissioner. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor and Commissioners. As Chair of the Children's Oral Health Coalition, I would just like to say thank you for recognizing the work of that group this morning. We know how pivotal children's oral health is to kids being able to stay in school, focus, concentrate, free of dental pain so that they can get their work done. So thank you for acknowledging our attempts to make this a county-wide focus. We appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Faye, if I could just catch you just a moment, in just a moment? We're going to, okay, thank you. Next is our employee recognition. But before we go into that, I know that Commissioner Brooks, you had something you wanted to say. I know Commissioner Wynn, Commissioner Fixes. Be thinking. Be figuring out if there's something you want to say, because these three are going to mention something. I'll just give you a little heads up.
I wasn't in that group meeting.
I don't think any of us were.
I'd like to make the employees of Tarrant County and those who are listening to our live streaming aware that this Saturday, the 11th of February, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., we will be holding our 3rd annual prostate cancer education and screening event. This is a collaboration between many health agencies in Tarrant County, including Precinct 1, Tarrant County Public Health, JPS, Texas Health Resources, and the Moncrief Cancer Care Center. The event will be held at the Moncrief Cancer Center at 400 West Rosedale, 400 West Magnolia on Saturday. It's important that men should know their prostate status, because if the disease is caught early, it is treatable and curable. This is a disease that men need not die from. But we as men are often reluctant to go to the doctor. We're often reluctant to want to know bad news. But the only way you can make good choices is to have good information. The national protocols say that men should be tested at 50 years old. I'm telling you that men of color need to be tested much sooner than that, because men of color are at a much higher risk than the population at large. Men of color should be tested beginning at age 40 unless there is someone in the family who has had prostate cancer. Then that drops you down to age 30. You need to know in order to make the correct decision. And the correct decision is to choose life, choose to live. This event is free. Everything about it is free. Newey Scruggs from Channel 5 will be our MC. Former Ranger pitcher Darren Oliver will be one of our special guests. We will have education this year done by Vinny Taneja. We will have healthy cooking demonstrations by the executive chef from JPS. Now, those of you who have eaten at JPS know they got good food at JPS. For women who need to bring their man, this is Valentine's Day weekend. If you love a man and he's a knucklehead, bring him.
What a present.
We'll give you a red rose for bringing your significant other. So come on out and support this event. It's vitally important, and it is one of Precinct 1's Healthy Lives Matter initiatives. Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. On Friday, next Friday, the 17th, we'll be holding our 8th Transportation Summit, and it's the Northeast Terran Transportation Summit. It'll be at the Hearst Conference Center, and we're going to be discussing autonomous vehicles. We're going to be talking about logistics of freight and how important that is in the DFW area, especially in Tarrant County with Alliance Airport and the huge intermodal facility. But throughout the county, the shipment of goods is a very important item. And then also we're going to be talking how you merge the new urban environments that are created around transportation hubs, and how do you hire and keep, and what you have to do to work with millennials. Okay, because it's a whole different deal, as y'all know, if you're one of them.
There's a couple in this room, but there ain't a whole lot of them.
Well, there are more of them than there are baby boomers.
Wow.
And there are employers who are basically building their facilities around those individuals because they want to be able to hire them, but more importantly, they want to be able to retain them. So we're going to talk about that and how that figures into transportation, because how many in the room here have used Uber? Well, a third, a fourth. It has the potential, maybe not Uber, but that type of system has the potential to dramatically change the landscape on transportation in the future, and especially in urban areas. So it'll be an interesting day. We have our key speakers, a gentleman named Kent Larson, who's a futurist. He's with MIT, and he's got some really thought-provoking ideas that he's going to be talking about. So it's next Friday, 8:30 to 1:30 at the Hearst Conference Center. And you can get tickets, call my office, and they'll tell you what you need to do to get a ticket. So, thank you.
I didn't call to speak.
No, you didn't? Oh, okay. I thought you did. Unfortunately, I don't have good news. We often hear Judge Whitley says that Terran County is a family. At times dysfunctional, but indeed we are a family. This morning we lost a member of that family, one of our employees at the Southeast Maintenance Center, Mr. David Stevens, passed away this morning. He was found at his home by two of his supervisors. David Stevens was only 47 years old. He is survived by his daughter. Those of you who knew him, or even if you didn't know him, please keep him and his family in your prayer. Thank you.
Okay, I do have one. I would like to request that we close today's court in memory of Gary McKinney. Gary McKinney was an ag teacher out at Boswell. He's been the ag teacher out there for 40-some-odd years. He passed away Sunday morning. His wife called me. I was up there early. We lost an icon. He's the one that made the junior livestock show in Tarrant County what it is today. So I would request that we close today's court in memory of Gary McKinney.
I mentioned to Commissioner Wynn, or wrote down, I said, I bet you something about the Junior Livestock Exchange comes up. This certainly is, as he said, the gentleman was very responsive. I kind of have a feeling that over the next couple of weeks, we'll hear a little bit more about the Junior Livestock Exchange.
You and some more here will be hearing from me. Those that have not made their contribution to the fund will be hearing from me soon.
And then one of the things that I'm going to mention is I'm working with United Way, with Cooks, with UNT, and with JPS in Fort Worth. Asthma. We've talked about asthma here many times before. UNT did a 1115 waiver project a couple of years ago with Fort Worth to begin to see what we could do about asthma, especially within the schools. And they had two, I guess maybe three schools that they had a very successful pilot program. And we talked a little bit with a couple of those districts, and I think they're ready to go full bore into it. And United Way is sponsoring a meeting. They have a regular meeting with their superintendents, and they've invited us to go and kind of speak to them. But the ultimate goal may be to try to have a nebulizer and a trained nurse in every school in Tarrant County that would be there to help with the asthma. And if we can keep a child from having to be transported by ambulance to a facility to take care of this, then we've done a great service for the child in the beginning, but we've also done a great service for really the community in getting involved with that and with the parents. And so Cooks, like I said, those folks have said we're all into this. Now it's a matter of getting with the school districts, private schools, everybody. In my mind, it would be every school, and seeing if we can't do this over the next next year, beginning maybe in the fall, and then over the next couple of years. So I think what this shows, and what I want you to have heard, is that all of us are working at different things. And quite honestly, everything that has been mentioned, I mean, with the exception of obviously this employee who we lost this morning, but is not tax dollars.
No.
None of these projects,
Not a
the
dime.
livestock exchange, the transportation, this asthma program, the prostate, none of these are Tarrant County tax dollars. These are collaborations with agencies who care about the community and with sponsorships from private companies. Again, I go back to the whole effort that government's not the answer, that the answer truly is us working together and not trying to be out there to see if we can be the ones getting the credit, but really seeing if we can't do something collectively that helps make this county, this community, a better place to live and to raise a family. So a lot of stuff going on. Most of the time it just happens and we don't hear about it, but I just knew with the things that Roy's done, with the things that all of us have done. Commissioner Wynn has helped with transportation stuff in Arlington, with Catholic Charities. There's a lot of stuff going on, And you're not always aware of it, or do you always see it? But it's kind of like y'all do it every day. You volunteer for Meals on Wheels. There's so much that county employees do that is not in your job description. You're not paid for it. You just do it because it's the right thing to do. And so with that, I want to move into recognizing some of our employees who do such a fantastic job in being a part of and in helping this community. 5 years, folks. We're going to call your name first. We understand you're rookies. So you stand up when I call your name, and then after we get finished, we'll clap for you, and you can sit down. And unfortunately, we can't do a whole lot more. We'd love to, but that's about all we can do. So we're going to start off with our 5-year employees. And the first is William Barnes with the Sheriff's Department. There he is. Now, there's one of those guys that's out there on the road.
Yep.
And when somebody is broken down, they stop and they help. And I hear a lot of people thank the Sheriff's Department and thank the county for you being out there. So thank you very much for the job you do. Christopher Carmichael, Sheriff's Department, 5 years. Nope, don't sit down yet. I just see you want to sit down. Don't do that. Audrey Jenkins, District Clerk's Office. There she is.
Where's her ball?
Just thank for the little blessings. Don't be doing anything that would. Roxanne Jones, Sheriff's Department. Kristen McElroy, Public Health. Kevin Norris, Sheriff's Department. Randall Stillwell, Sheriff's Department. Brittany Terry, District Clerk's Office. Kelly Wigley, Information Technology. Tramika Williams, Sheriff's Department. Timothy Wilson, Sheriff's Department. These are our 5-year employees. Let's give them a hand. Thank y'all very much. Now you can sit down. 10-year employees. Jose Aguilar, Public Health. I got a little cheering section I see there.
Reluctantly.
Ivy Altal, Sheriff's Department. Rosalind Davis, Juvenile Services. Miranda Howard, County Clerk. Welcome. Donna Martin, Sheriff's Department. Mickey Murby, Public Health. Better be watching there, Vinny. You can't discriminate here. You know. Barbara Murphy, Criminal Courts Administration. Sugar. Veronica Sechrist, Public Health. Well, you clap for the other one. You're not going to clap for her? Jean Ann Taylor, Juvenile Services. Matthew Weaver, County Auditor's Office. Melinda Westmoreland, Criminal District Attorney's Office. And Tremal Woods, Sheriff's Department. These are our 10-year employees. Now for our 15-year employees, Serena Davis, District Court Family Law. Now, we really don't want to start this trend. I mean, I know I kind of egged this on, but let's. Welcome. Mitzi Johnson, Public Health. Jerry Jones, Sheriff's Department. I just thought maybe he was taking on a second job and working down here at the county. Michelle Markham, Public Health. Maribel Monteliego, Juvenile Services. Andy N. Wynn, Juvenile Services.
I'll stand up for him. I know, he keeps getting my email.
I saw this and I said, there's no way he's been here 15 years.
And juvenile at that.
And in juvenile, I said, well, maybe he started work early. Josephine Peters, Juvenile Services. Jennifer Ramos, 96th District Court. Welcome. Greg Schugert.
James.
So you made it, but your employee didn't. Criminal Courts Administrator. Don Smith, County Clerk. And Virgil Tyndall, Jr., Public Health. These are our 15-year employees. Thank you very much. Now for our 20-year employees, Wesley Isaacs, Sheriff's Department. Gracie Marr, Domestic Relations Office. Jason Peters, Criminal Court, County Criminal Court, number 10. Christopher Salone, Constable, Precinct 7. John Shelton, Sheriff's Department. Joy Taylor, Probate Court, number 2. Sherry Walters, Sheriff's Department. And Rosalind Williams, Housing Department. That's the end of our 20 years. I think somebody started that a little early, but I got fairly lucky this time. Those were not real difficult names, so I, almost made it through that thing. Now for our 25-year employees. The first one is Ricky Camp with the 213th District Court. There's Ricky. He started with the Sheriff's Department in the Belknap Jail, then went to Green Bay, then ran the kitchen in the Correction Center. He was a part of, for a brief period of time, we had two-man patrol units with Sheriff Williams. He was a part of that, and then he also helped get the first addition to the Green Bay facility ready and open. He served at the release desk at the Correction Center, and then went to the courts area as a bailiff, first as a floater, and then to the 213th Court. When I asked him what he liked most, he said, there was a lot of different cases that he's had an opportunity to be a part of in the courts, and he said he thinks back over a lot of those. He said the courts are an interesting place because you get to see the end of the process. In a lot of the areas you're working up, you see the beginning, you see them go through this particular area, but you never have a chance to see how it actually ends. And he said in the courts, you see the kind of the details, and then you see at the end whether it's guilty or not guilty. He said, I love the environment around here. I love the opportunity that the people that he's had an opportunity to work with. And then he said, at the end of every day, I feel like that we've accomplished something. And he said, that's a good feeling to have when you're working a job. He really enjoys working with Judge Stearns and plans on being here for many more years. Ricky, thank you for the 25 years that you've given us.
Thank you.
Next, I think, is Edmund Choice, Court Security. There he was. He wasn't sure he was going to be able to make it. He started in the Sheriff's Department in the jail on the midnight shift. Then from there, he was an instructor at the Training Academy, and today he is in the Judicial Services Division. He said, as I look back over the 25 years, the most memorable moments were in the training area. And he really continued to speak about the importance of training and just really loved that opportunity. When I asked him what he likes most, he said it was the look on someone's face when you helped them out, and just just knowing that you made a difference in that particular area. The opportunities that are in place and the opportunities to do other things. The closeness of the folks who he's had a chance to work with, and the accessibility to county leaders. He said, I feel like I can go anywhere and talk with anybody, and will be taken seriously, and we'll really have an opportunity to sit down and talk about these types of things. He said, when I asked him about anything else, he said, I always try to do my best and take ownership for everything that he does. And he said, I really try to kind of shy away from bringing any attention to myself. Edmund, we thank you very, very much for the 25 years of service you've given to us. Next is Martin, and it's Evans is what yeah, but he said a lot of people pronounce it Ivans, but he said my dad always said it was Evans.
Said it was
Evans. See, I knew I needed to say that earlier because I knew I was going to get down to this group and I would have something go wrong. Martin is, yeah, I know, you just love it.
No comment.
Martin is actually retiring at the end of this month. He spent 25 years with the county. He started off in the Belknap Jail and was in Green Bay Correction Center, also in the training academy. He said over the years, he has done background checks on 3,102 folks that have applied. He said about 1 out of every 8 make it. He's now in the courts division and is with Judge Cosby. No, was with Judge Cosby, and now is in the security for the civil courts building. When I asked him about memorable moments, he said, I started right after the court shootings, and he said my best memories came from the work at the training academy. He said, I love the job, I love the benefits. He said, it's just a great place to work. He enjoyed every bit of his time with the county. He said, I just wished I'd gotten here sooner. He spent about 20 years working with Cullen Davis outside as in the security area, I think. And so he said, I just wished I'd have gotten here a lot sooner. And he said, I just love what I'm doing. And he said,
when it didn't work out too good.
Thank you for saying that. I wasn't but thank you very much for your 25 years of service. Next is Alan Williams, Facilities, Record Destruction, 25 years, back there in the back. I started out in the county clerk's office, said someone called and said we need a little part-time temporary help in the mail room, and he came in, became full-time. Then when at one point, several years ago, we moved the records destruction from the county to facilities. And so he came over and actually was the original supervisor and got that all set up and is still working there. He said, as far as memorable moments, he said, I have a lot of good things, good memories. Some sad, the shootings, the helicopter crash. He said, but I have an opportunity to meet people and see how employees treat the citizens and how well they treat them. He said, I love the people that I've had a chance to work for and work with. What he liked most was watching how much really folks watch the dollars in Terran County. And, I say this, it's not this group up here. It's everybody looks at the dollars that they spend as if they were their own and makes every attempt to be as efficient with our taxpayers' dollars as we can possibly be. He said the county is really a family. He said over the years we've had health issues in my family. The county family is always there to help in whatever way they can. You heard Commissioner Wynn mention that one of our employees passed away, and I know that our HR folks are going to get out there and they're going to, work with the daughter and help her through a very difficult time in her life. And so we appreciate very much that they do that. When I asked him about anything else, he said that Tarrant County has a lot going for them, that we deal civilly with each other and with the citizens that we work with. We're professional. He said it has been a wonderful opportunity to work for the folks in Tarrant County, and that he's very, very proud of that, of Tarrant County. Alan, you're a lot of that reason. And it's the way you treat folks, and people watch and they learn from example. And I think you've set a very good example by your work, and we appreciate the 25 years you've given us. Thank you. Next is Jamie Williams from the Sheriff's Department, 25 years. There's Jamie. Started in the Sheriff's Department at the Correction Center right after it was opened. Then went to Belknap, and then back to booking in the Correction Center, and he's now at Green Bay. Memorable moments. And this was a comment that I had heard once recently, and then he repeated it, and it really struck home. The difference between the jail and the prison. The jail, they're still presumed innocent. The prison, they've been found guilty. And so as he has, he said he heard that when I think he went through in the instruction, and he emphasizes that, the fact that these are different folks. Until they get convicted, they are presumed innocent. And they deal with them, and he deals with them. He tries to emphasize that. I asked him what he liked most. He said it was the brotherhood. It was the family atmosphere. He said it's the way the counties take care of you when you're in a time of need. And, I think that says it all. Now, Jamie, it looks to me like you've got a good friend there. You want to go ahead and introduce?
That's my son David. This is my son David.
Thank both of you. And who else is this right here?
This is my wife, Sherry.
Y'all all stand up, and thank you very, very much for the 25 years that you've allowed him. Yeah, get your picture. Somebody stand up there and get a picture of all four of them. Somebody back there can help take it. It's gotten a little bit easier with these iPhones. All you got to do is punch a little button, and usually you can get a pretty good picture. Now, for our last employee this month, we have Andy Ledbetter with the District Clerk's Office, 30 years. Where is Andy?
She called in sick today.
Did you tell her Wilder wasn't going to be here? Well, I'm going to tell you about her anyway, and I can't tell you, it really disappoints me, and you tell her I want her to come to my office.
She didn't have the
She started with Sheriff Carpenter, and then Williams, and then booking in the civil warrants area, and then she moved to the district clerk's office. She said, as far as memorable moments, and she's a hoot. I'm just telling you, she is a hoot. She said, I've got a lot of things, but none of them can I repeat. She loved the National Adoption Day, and you could just see it because there was tears in her eyes when she talked about it. That was notes that I got from when she was 20 years. And then at 25 years, she said, I've been moved from the family section to the civil court. She says, I really kind of miss the adoption days. She went up to them as long as they were on the weekends, but I think we've moved them now to the middle of the week, so she can't get there. She said, I'm making new friends and keeping in touch with old ones. A number of folks have retired. Her mom had gone through 2 surgeries. She recognized her husband if he was here, but he wasn't, obviously, and that was again at the 25-year mark. And then the last thing she said was, I look forward to talking to you when I reach my 30 years. So when I called her on Saturday, I said, well, this is that 30-year call. She says, well, I was wondering if you remembered that. And we both agreed of how quickly it had gone by. She said, I still get a chance to see all my friends. It's still a big family. She lost her mom 4 years ago. And the people that are around here, I see them shaking their heads because, again, that's another sign of how we circle the wagons when one of our employees needs help. And she says she knows she can't do it, but she said, I'd just love to come up and give you a big hug. And so I was going to go down and give her a big hug. So don't tell her that. Just tell her that she's in trouble and that I've told her I want her coming to my office because I'm going to give her that big hug. And so when you see Andy this week, I want you to congratulate her on her 30 years of service, but don't tell him I'm going to give her a hug. Let's give a hand to Andy. 655 years of service, and every month we celebrate, and we usually always go over that 6, 7, sometimes over 1,000 years of service. And it's because people come here to think they're only going to be here for a couple of years, love it, love the work that they do, love the interaction with our citizens, that they ended up coming and all of a sudden they blink and they're celebrating 20, 30, 5 through, we've got 45 years. I mean, we got employees who have served here for 45 years. And we love every one of you, and we thank you for all that you do. And we got refreshments back there in 504C. So head on back and have a great day.
Construction management related to RFP number 2017-022 for long-range planning and facility analysis related to the Terran County Hospital District doing business as JPS Health Network.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Members of the court, on item number 2, this is an item that Commissioner Wynn brought to our attention. This is a resolution we're requesting that you consider and to pass. What it would do would designate a portion of State Highway 360 extension as the Senator Chris Harris Memorial Highway. What this would be is it would be the main lanes of State Highway 360 from Interstate 20 to U.S. Highway 287.
I move for its approval.
I'll second.
Now, this is a very fitting deal. Chris did a tremendous amount of work on making that happen, and I think it'd be very appropriate.
It's a great state senator.
Yes. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
As it relates to that, it's my understanding that a bill has already been introduced in the legislature to do that. So this is a legislative item that we will forward down to Mr. Mendez.
Thank you.
Ms. Tidwell.
We have one item we're asking the court to consider this morning, and that is to approve the release of $288,873,000 of collateral as outlined in the specifics in your court communique.
Move for approval.
Second. A motion is second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Ms. Snyder.
Risk Management Board is recommending the payment on two claims, one to Melody Gartner and Caliber Collision, and Michael, Can you say that for me, Judge?
No.
And Michael, as listed on your court communication.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have motion and second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Move to receive and file personnel agenda.
Second.
We have motion and second to receive and file personnel agenda. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Good morning and thank you. We have one additional item. That's item 2. We're asking the court to approve the interlocal agreement between North Central Texas Council of Governments and the member entities of the Public Employee Benefits Cooperative for administrative services. You've seen this contract many years now. This is a one-year agreement. It's effective 1/1/2017, and it does represent a 5% increase over 2016 costs.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Chris?
Good morning, Judge, court members. We have two items this morning for your consideration. The first item is the court is being requested this morning. We are requesting that the Commissioners Court approve the purchase of Cisco SmartNet maintenance utilizing RFP 2015-043, purchase of network equipment and implementation services with CDW government.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
The second item, it is requested that the Commissioners Court approve the purchase of Cisco SmartNet maintenance utilizing RFP 2015-043, purchase of network equipment and implementation services with NetSync Network Solutions.
Move approval.
How come this here, it said the term for the SmartNet maintenance is December 2nd, 2016?
I'll second so we can discuss this.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yes, that...
it's only 1 year?
Yes, it's 1 year.
Okay.
The SmartNet maintenance program runs from December to December.
How come we don't synchronize them all together and do them in one shot? Is there a reason why?
Yes, sir. The reason is we went out a couple of years ago, an RFP, the RFP number that you see here, and to exercise a more fair competition in the market, we decided to split that network equipment. All of what we call the physical layer equipment and the wireless equipment was one piece. And then we had the rest of the equipment as a separate piece for multiple awards. It just so happens that the responses we got back, we got better pricing, and our needs were better met by two different companies, NetSync as well as CDW. So there was a multiple award. So the maintenance is also being split out so that correspondingly the piece that went with CDW, they have the maintenance.
Okay. That's good practice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Mr. Beecham.
Good morning. We have two items for your consideration this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation for RFP 2016-200, RFP for emergency notification services. Recommendation be to award to Inspiron Logistics, the amount of $36,200.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Second item, we're seeking approval to process the invoice from RDO Equipment as shown in your court communique.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Commissioner Fickus.
Yes, I have a couple of interlocals. One with the city of Hearst and one with the city of Bedford. Move approval, item 8L1, A and B, and 8L1, C and D.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Johnson.
I have an interlocal agreement with the city of Westover Hills. Has this been approved by the DA's office? Move approval of item 2A and B.
Second.
Motion is second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Appointments. I want to request the court. Last week, Commissioner Brooks and I were nominated and approved as a liaisons on the Blue Ribbon Committee. And I kind of looked over at a bunch of stuff between the legislature and some stuff that's going on with Tech Share and some stuff that's going on with this asthma thing that I just mentioned. I would like to, and Commissioner Johnson, I appreciate the nomination, but I'd like to turn it over and let's get somebody else from the court to consider it.
All right, well, I understand your schedule. I would nominate Andy Wynn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Do I get a pay raise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll pay you twice as much as all the other liaisons are getting. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Are there any, I have a note here that says possibly your historical commission. Not yours, his.
Oh. I didn't.
You want
Do
to
we
wait?
have them? I want to reappoint all of my
Okay.
existing.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Are there any other appointments? I understand that we have an approval of bond and or self-insurance certificates.
Yes, Your Honor, members of the court, these all deal with reserve deputies within the Sheriff's Department, and these are certificates of self-insurance. If I might just read their names very quickly. John Barr, Don Benavides, Stuart Bosegold, Richard Emberlin, Mary Hendricks, George Marler, Bobby Mesa, Blake Miller, Jeff Nicholson, Phil Robinson, Tommy Rice, James Skidmore, Rodney Smith, Clinton Springer, and Peter Valente. We're requesting that you approve these certificates of self-insurance.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Court members, you have before you the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval of claims including the addendum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Briefing items, Mr. Magnus.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just give me just half a second. Members of the court, we have one briefing item to bring to you this morning. That is the legislative update. First, let me say that Mr. Mendez has included in the backup material a memorandum to the court as it relates to this week's, which is week 4, its legislative update. And I'll be more than happy to try to answer any questions as it relates to that particular memo. There's one thing I would like to point out, though, and we just received information on this morning, and we've been in contact with the district attorney's office about this also. Senate Bill 4, which is the sanctuary city bill, was voted out of Senate committee. Either late last night or this morning, there was a committee substitute for Senate Bill 4. And part of that committee substitute added language where that cities and counties there would be a waiver of sovereign immunity and create unlimited liability for damages that were to be paid by taxpayers if a felony is committed by an individual with a criminal history who is subject to an ICE detainer if they are released from jail. That liability is created regardless of facts surrounding the release, even if the release is accidental or the jail staff was unaware of the detainer request or the criminal history of the inmate. And the liability runs for a 10-year period. This is something that, as I said, we first found out about this morning. This is unprecedented in that now the legislature is trying to remove sovereign liability that this county, every other county in this state, and municipalities have for acts of, or lawful acts of its employees. There has been a letter which has been drafted and sent to Lieutenant Governor Patrick and members of the Senate, and the letter was signed by Don Lee from the Conference of Urban Counties, Gene Terry, who is the Executive Director of the Texas Association of Counties, and also James Allison, who is the General Counsel for the County Judges and Commissioners Association of Texas, that requests that Section 1 of the substitute, which deals with the liability for both counties and municipalities that fail to comply with the immigration detainer request, that it be removed from the Senate substitute. So this is something we're following very, very closely. It's something that we're requesting any one of our elected officials who has a contact with any Texas senator to contact them and encourage them to remove Section 1 out of the substitute. I know that we'll be making calls. Also know that this letter, I believe that I've given you a copy of that letter, that we will be requesting that the sheriff makes that call also, simply because the waiver of sovereign immunity, the creation of a liability for actions of an individual 10 years after their release from our county jail should be unacceptable.
What about the House of Representatives? Isn't it going to have to be heard there too?
Yes, sir.
So we need to contact our state reps at the same time.
Absolutely. What we're trying to do is to hope, and it's our understanding that the bill may be heard today in the Senate, to strip this Section 1. If not, well, then we're going to need to fight this thing in the House.
Who's pushing that through?
This is a bill that obviously the Lieutenant Governor is the one who has been supportive of this. The Governor has been supportive of it also.
Really? This wording?
Not, I don't know about this substitute, but the substitute bill, but for a bill as it relates to.
Who submitted the substitute?
This just came from the office of State Senator Charles Perry.
Who?
Charles Perry.
Where's he from?
I'll need to look. I don't know where that is, but we'll find that out. And I apologize for that, Commissioner. We just got this just very shortly.
The substitute came out last night, and it's, may or may not, the Lieutenant Governor or the Governor may or may not have seen this.
It's from Lubbock,
Lubbock,
District 28.
Was there any action we need to take today other than contacting these folks in Austin?
I think right now what we need to do is make a call, and if we have contacts, we need to contact our senators and tell them.
He's a CPA.
That we need to have this.
Maybe the
Section
A
1
stands
removed.
for something other than accountant.
But Commissioner Johnson, we're going to be notifying our House members in the Speaker's office also as it relates to this, because this is something that is unprecedented.
Be disastrous if they pass that.
Yeah, it will be. Can't even fathom cost to taxpayers that might do.
I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have as it relates to the legislative briefing. Thank you, Your Honor.
With that, we will recess our open session and proceed to close to discuss items exempted under Section 551.071, 072, 074, 076, and 087 of the Texas Government Code. I love how everybody just listens to that. Get you two to the door, I just go ahead and get underneath this desk.
I think we have a shield up there. I
Is there
don't
an old
know.
shield up here in front of our desk?
No, I don't think so.
No?
Okay, I just want to know, so I just know, need to know whether I need to try to beat these two to the door.
It's just gonna, never mind, I won't say it.
He's gonna be returning fire, you and I are the ones gonna be running.
That'd be all right. We get out.
Having returned from our closed session and there being no business to do at this time, remember that we are
Closing
in honor of Gary McKinney.
in memory of Gary McKinney.
Yeah, that's in memory of Gary McKinney. We're adjourned. Are you about to say something?